Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today we are starting a brand new series covering the entire story of No Man's Sky. We've gone right back to the beginning. We're going to start a brand new save. We're going to cover the lore of No Man's Sky leading up to the point at which we have landed on this planet. We are then going to go off, complete the Artemis quest lines, the Apollo quest lines, the Atlas quest lines. We're going to go off and meet Nada and Polo at the Anomaly. We're going to cover every single mystery. We're going to turn every stone over. We're going to complete every secondary mission, from base archives to pirates to sentinels to your own starships and things like that, so that we can scrap every single piece of lore together that we can to understand what is going on, why the Atlas is doing what it's doing, why is it creating these universes, what's the story behind the Vy'keen, the Gek, the Korvax, why are the Sentinels behaving like they are, everything. So you start off on a planet. You have to complete an initial mission called Awakenings, which is a basic tutorial teaching you the fundamentals of what you need to do. You'll have to put your scanner together, you'll have to grab a few elements, you'll have to do a few missions, and then it's going to lead you to your spaceship. Once you're at your spaceship, you're going to have to fix it, follow in the tutorial, and get out into space. And that's when the storyline of Artemis will start and we can really get into this game. So what I thought I'd do is I'll just leave Awakenings running in the background, and I've jumped over to the No Man's Sky official wiki, and I thought we could go through some lore of the game. We'll talk about the races, we'll talk about the Atlas, we'll talk about everything, just leading up to the point where we are on the planet, so that we've got a good idea of the backstory going forward, and it might help us piece together some of the mysteries that are coming. So without further ado, it all started back in June 2017 with something called Waking Titan, which was an alternate reality game put together by Hello Games and Alison Smith. So the ARG took place in our contemporary era. It follows the actions of a company named the Atlas Foundation and its many sub-companies. The Atlas Foundation's primary goals were to find answers to the fundamental questions of existence through research on artificial intelligence, reality simulation, metaphysical analysis, dream theories, mind digitization, etc., etc. Many themes that are central to the No Man's Sky universe. The imagery and symbolism through the ARG were direct references to the No Man's Sky universe, showing the Atlas symbol, glyphs, travellers, images of the game, the Atlas Pass version 4, which was rewarded to the players, which looks exactly like the in-game Atlas Passes that we'll discover later on, as well as many references to in-game lore like Vy'keen, Korvax, Gek, etc. If we are to believe that the events of the ARG are canon to the No Man's Sky universe, a few connections can be made between its content and the game. Now, the No Man's Sky wiki lists them as the Atlas. The Atlas was created by the Atlas Foundation after concluding their research on AI and simulated worlds, to simulate universes to find answers to the reasons of our existence. The No Man's Sky universe simulation takes place in our universe, millennia after our era and the events of Waking Titan, and after humans have left the Earth. The AI, known through the ARG as Emily, or Loop 16, is an older version of the current Atlas. During the ARG, a few mentions are made to the AI Emily Loop 16 learning how to lie, which could be linked in game to the references of the Atlas being a liar. It could have been the first steps towards the Atlas becoming sentient. The creators of the Atlas being human means that the Anomaly race, the player characters, the guys that we get to use, are based off humans and could look human underneath their helmets. The other travellers look alien, most likely, because they are more corrupted copies. So yeah, basically Waking Titan was this AR thing that I never got to see it. I bet it was absolutely awesome. It was this ARG, you got to play along and it uncovered this mystery, what is No Man's Sky, and then it led to the game being launched, which is a fantastic way of bringing us into it. I think a really cool way. So there was a few things that we talked about there. So the Atlas. So the Atlas is a large machine that was designed to simulate universes for research purposes. After improvements to its design, the original Atlas was considered bulky and obsolete, and was abandoned on the planet it was built on. This original Atlas now communicates to the simulated inhabitants of its universes through surrogate characters and spacious interfaces. Millennia later, the physical fate of the Atlas became apparent when it noticed that its systems were starting to fail. With no access to the physicality needed to prevent its crash, Atlas instead attempted to understand why it was abandoned by seeding a digitized brain of its creator into its universes. The Atlas's creator takes the form of the Travelers, which is what we are. So, the Travelers, the anomalies that they can be known as. The Atlas originally created the Travelers from the corrupted memory of a brain scan it performed on its creator before it was abandoned. The anomalies are considered to be the race of the player character and are a subtype of Travelers. Every known anomaly is the last Traveler in their iteration of the universe. And we have something on our shoulder, a device. We know it as our scanner. We get to find out later on that it has a name and a backstory, and it's called Telemon. And just to give you a summary of that without really getting into it, because we'll explore that later on, Telemon was a security sub-protocol created to monitor Atlas, and at the birth of the last Traveller, Telemon becomes the voice AI attached to the Traveller's exosuit. So there's a lot more to that, to be honest. There's loads of that to get into. But yeah, that's a mystery that we'll save for further down the line. So we are basically landed in this universe, this multiverse, when we've got to discover the reasons as to why we're there, and we're going to get help throughout it by various different characters that we can interact with. But the actual universe itself, or what we really should say is the multiverse itself, there seems to be an endless number of universes, known as iterations. They used to be varied and with different races and pasts. However, due to the Atlas's errors, they now all share the same set of rules and have the same history, with a few minor differences. Previously, each Traveller was alone or in his or her own universe. As the Atlas degraded itself over time, Travellers were able to see and interact with each other in limited ways. Now, Travellers can explore the universe together and meet in the space anomaly from anywhere in the universe. They can even jump back and forth between galaxies, which was previously impossible. Now, that's interesting because when this game came out, it wasn't multiplayer. So I like the fact that that is like a little bit of a tie-in to why the game started off as a single-player game, and now as the game's advanced, it's let us meet each other. But the in-game explanation for that is because the universe is collapsing around us and everything's coming down. So, you know, it's reality failing, and this is why we can now see each other, which I thought was a really cool little way of going about it, to be fair. But anyway, right, so let's talk about the history of the universe. So according to No Man's Sky Wiki, the No Man's Sky universe is a simulated universe run by the Atlas. According to in-game lore, many vastly different iterations of the universe existed with very different histories and races. As the Atlas AI became more and more corrupted, the universes became more and more similar to each other. A pattern began to emerge, with the same three dominant races living in the universe, and an identical history of war and conflict. Every player character exists in an instance of such a universe. This is a summary of all the backstory of these universes that the players evolve in. Since the birth of this universe, there have been thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of unique entities. Over many millennia of advancements and wars, 3 entities reached the pinnacle of evolution before falling into a dark time. And they are as follows. So we've got the Gek Dominion. Known as Gek First Spawns, they are very impulsive and aggressive and have earned an infamous bloodthirsty reputation due to the fact that they will also murder their own kind if they are deemed too weak. Their numbers are highest at the centre of the universe, and they eschew arrangement with other entities. the Korvax convergence. Known as the Korvax, they are the most intellectual of the known mechanical life forms. Through technological advancements, they wield an impressive power, never meant to be used against any other entities in the universe. Their belief system was unknown until the arrival of the Aerons, which they then began to worship as gods. As robots, they consistently look for ways to advance themselves while peacefully engaging with other entities. It is said that they mainly reside in a distant, secluded system, but have also wandered planet to planet between the outer edge to the outer edge of the universe, studying fauna and vegetation. And the Vy'keen Alliance, they are the nomads of this universe. Widely scattered, they can be found on almost every planet. They originated in the outer edge and are known for their violent disposition, seeming to be in perpetual conflict with each other and all entities. They do not eliminate every entity they encounter though, rather they accept the strong-willed and exile the weak into the vast universe to wither. The Vy'keen worship the war heroes, like Herc the Great, and a few who have the honour of fighting with Herc are the leaders of the Alliance. So millennia before the mysterious travellers, us, came across the No Man's Sky universe, the Gek decided to dominate the universe. As it was their birthright to be masters of everything that lives, and as they devoured every entity they encountered while advancing out from the centre of the universe with pride, an unknown entity entered the galaxy from the outer edge, and these were called the Aerons. They were later called Sentinels. These supposedly mindless mechanical life forms appear in the No Man's Sky universe and enforce the protection of the planets and life forms that exist within it. The Aeron forces consist of different variations, from small drone-like entities to giant walkers to starship characters, and now with the new updates that we've had, we've also got new walker types, we've got new crab types. There's all sorts going on with Sentinels at the moment. It's really interesting, the lore with Sentinels later on in the game. It's getting pretty interesting to discover what they're all about and the relationship with the world of glass and what the deal is. I won't get into that yet, but anyway, while they reached into the universe effortlessly with astonishing speed, they were quickly spotted by the Vy'keen Alliance, who considered their actions to be against the natural order of things. And the Aerons, they were soon engaged in a long war with the Alliance, in which Herc would find his death. The war resulted in massive casualties for both Aerons and the Vy'keen Alliance. The Vy'keens had the last laugh though, when the Aerons began their retreat. But what they didn't expect was that the Gek would take advantage of the absence of Aerons to launch their attack. So while the Vy'keen believed they needn't worry about the threats of the Gek advancing outwards, Korvax Prime was chosen as the next target by the Gek, who mined the entire planet for its resources and power and took the remaining Korvax into slavery to extract the resources, until the planet was completely destroyed. And this event is known as the Great Disconnection, and it's something that you'll hear the Korvax talk about a lot, especially when we get into the later lore. So with the Vy'keen in no condition to fight, no one could stop the advance of the Gek. During their time in slavery, countless Korvax sacrificed themselves to pour their nanite blood into the spawning pools of the Geks. So through this process, they rewrote the very DNA of the first spawn and redirected their greed and need to dominate and conquer through war towards a need for commerce and trade. So this alteration of the Gek is not known by the non-Korvax races. They think this shift has been a natural change. They think slowly the Geks have just started to be born with a mercantile mindset. The first Gek spawned a million fell down from within because of these actions. The Aerons, after the destruction of Korvax Prime, came back as the Sentinels, came back stronger and more aggressive than ever, and we meet them in the game later on. They eliminated the remnants of the first spawn and now spread their true domination over the universe, existing in every part of it. So, the new Gek shared the Korvax's worship of the Atlas and the Sentinels, and entered into an alliance with them under their new belief system. The universe is now in an era of peace. The Korvax's new convergence, after the destruction of Korvax Prime, which was their first convergence, still roam the universe in search of knowledge. The Gek, now a peaceful race, constantly seek economical domination through trade and diplomacy, and the Vy'keen, still at war with the Sentinels, are now incapable of actually stopping them in a meaningful way. They are at peace with the new mercantile Gek, but they do stay alert, as they did not forget the war crimes of the first spawn. So it is in this era of peace between the three races that the events of this game take place, and where we find ourselves. So all those millennia of history and war that we've just spoke about can be discovered through terminals at different stations, and you can piece all that together to get an understanding of what came before us, why the races are the way they are, and how the Sentinels entered this galaxy. Now, as we go along through the different quest lines, we are going to discover that there's a lot more to it than we've just had there. That was almost just the tip of the iceberg, especially when it comes down to the Sentinels. It is harrowing reading about what the Gek did to the Korvax. It is awful. Like, some of it's really, really bad. You'll find all about it. It's really interesting. We'll pick it up as we go along. But what we're doing at the moment is we are just sort of pinging a signal and fixing up our ship, and that's the plan. Once we've fixed this ship, we'll be able to get off this planet, and we'll be able to start the game properly on the Artemis quest line, which is the first quest line that you get, and it's the first dip into the story that we're going to have. So it's going to be very exciting. So here we go. We ran off, we grabbed our hermetic seal, a few nanites, a few little bits on our way back. We stocked ourselves up with plenty of the basic elements that we need. We can get in our ship and we can fly off into the universe and start unlocking this story. So here we go. Finally leaving the planet. I would suggest, maybe if this is your first playthrough, to spend about an hour on this planet, maybe even a bit longer. Get as much resources as you are happy to carry. If you can, stack everything out 9999, but don't worry too much. If you can get about maybe 2,000 or 3,000 of each, you want to be stacked up on dihydrogen, carbon, ferrite. If you want to get yourself some copper, you can get yourself some copper. You're going to have to do all sorts of bits and bobs, and it's handy to keep hold of them. So once you've done all that and you set out into the universe, we can start the game properly. And I think one of the first times you do this is absolutely amazing. I think for me it was leaving the planet for the first time, because I did not know what I was doing at all when I first started playing this game. I spent about 5 hours down on that first planet, stumbling around like an idiot. But leaving that planet for the first time is amazing. Absolutely amazing. That and entering space stations. So it's going to ask us to go through a few basic flight controls. Once we've done that, we can start doing the actual storyline itself. And then you're off, guys and girls. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. But what we're going to do is we're going to finish off Awakenings, and then I think what we're going to do is we're going to start the Artemis quest line in the next video. So we're going to leave it there for now. We'll see you guys in the next one with the first main storyline quest line, the Artemis quest line. But thank you very much. If you like what we've done today, please leave a like and a comment, give us a subscribe and stuff. Let us know what you think, because if it's worth doing it, we'll go right in depth and we'll cover every single aspect that we can find. But thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves, guys. See you soon. Goodbye. Thank you very much for watching the video, everybody. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you saw today, then please consider giving the channel a like and also giving us a subscribe. Every single like and subscribe really helps us out, guys, and we appreciate every single one. If you would like to join the membership and become a Creative Club member, you can do so by clicking the button below. Here is a list of all the guys that are our Creative Club members at the moment, and also our Creative Club graduates. Thank you all so much. You are rock and rollers, guys. We appreciate every single one of you. But again, thank you very much. We really hope you enjoyed the video. Please, like I say, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Don't skip the ads. Every single little bit helps, guys. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.